Welcome to the behind the scenes, everyone. Angeline was just looking at me being like this complete freak. Just having like my own routine or like,
Yeah, before
recording any episode.
recording.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like before recording an episode, I'm just like try to like all the way.
Yeah.
But it's not like normally when I talk to Angeline, I have like mucus just flowing through my mouth, like just dripping everywhere. It's just like me being hyper conscious. Okay, anyhow.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Low High Trips with me and your very amazing host, Aaron.
Wow, that's a very high praise. Thank you for that, Angeline. And fantastic job on the opening. Everyone, kudos to her. I'm not going to put air horns here. All right, so yes, everyone, welcome back. As you have heard from the previous episode with Angeline, if you have not, go check it out because I reckon that's a very interesting episode. It's the official first episode that we've recorded together. As we've said in that episode, we would like to explore and further discuss the ideas or everything about dating apps.
Yeah.
For example, Tinder, Bumble, I don't know what else there is. Hinge, CMB, Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like coffee and bagels. As in, not the app, but I generally enjoy coffee and bagels. What's your favorite bagel?
Bagel?
Yeah.
Just a plain one, I guess.
A plain bagel?
Yeah, a plain bagel with butter.
With butter?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I personally enjoy sesame seeds bagel.
Oh, that's also good.
Everything bagel.
Yeah.
With like poppy seeds or whatever they put in it.
Poppy seeds, it's good.
Yeah, so interesting, right?
Yeah,
like the
it's
texture.
Yeah.
I think I'm a man of texture. I really, really like texture. However, I realized that I really enjoy bagel with butter or vegan butter with Vegemite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have you tried Vegemite?
No, I have not. Maybe I should give it a go.
I'm really surprised because I personally have tried Vegemite in my first month in Australia, but I felt like I was a complete idiot. I was very uncultured. I consumed Vegemite. I put the amount of Vegemite like how I put peanut butter, which is like slop, a really big blob.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just tasted like death.
Like veggie?
No, Vegemite does not taste like veggies at all.
Like, how does it taste like?
It's super salty, first of all. So it's very, very high sodium content. I don't know how to taste. I think a good way to describe it would be umami. I'm not sure if that's the right... It tastes a bit like soy sauce.
Oh.
Man, I feel like that's a really...
With bread?
I
with
feel like
bagel?
it has the same like flavonoids as soy sauce.
Okay.
Anyhow, as always, me being me, I'm completely derailing from the topic that we would like to talk about, which is dating apps.
That's all good.
We have not really discussed this in person.
Yeah.
I feel like we've never talked about this. But yeah, I just want to know, what are your thoughts on dating apps, Angeline?
I think, first of all, it is not for everyone, obviously. I guess dating apps is, at the end of the day, is, like a platform for everyone, just like to use and create an account and, just like to meet your potential love partner, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the goal of dating apps these days. But for me personally, I can say that I'm a bit of old-fashioned person.
Old school?
Old school, yes. I prefer whenever I meet someone, it's just from my mutual friends because I feel like they're more trustworthy than dating apps.
Okay.
In my own perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
Like
and also with dating apps, I feel like the goal from the start is to find a relationship right away. But for me, I cannot do like a very fast track relationship.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yes.
I have to do it like very slowly, like starting off as friends.
Yeah.
And then if things are going well and feels there is a connection, we can move forward to be something like a very serious one. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And to further expand on what you said as well, where you say that dating apps, typically people would like to fast track into a relationship right away.
Yep.
I think, from my experience, dating apps, there are quite a few users. First of all, from my experience, predominantly, a lot of people go on dating apps for short-term relationships, aka flings.
Yeah.
So more of a physical relationship, sexual relationship instead of a long-term one. Of course, different people have like different motivations from installing a dating app, right? For example, like what you say earlier, Tinder, Bumble, whatsoever, And I think there are different ways of using a dating app as well. Like to give you a bit of an example, do you know that on Bumble, you can there's actually this function, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Bumble BFF, where you can actually make friends through the app.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the goal is essentially to like find friends. It's not to find a romantic relationship.
Oh, wow. I just knew about that.
Yeah, and I think that's quite interesting because disclosure, I've personally used Tinder and Bumble. These are the only two apps that I've used. Pretty old school. If I'm not mistaken, Tinder was established back in 2012 and Bumble in 2014. So that's like what? 10 years, 8 years respectively. Insane. I genuinely thought they were just created like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah,
Time flies.
Yeah, time flies.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Wow, but
Wow.
anyhow, yeah, going back to the topic, like, yeah, after using, Tinder and Bumble, I think personal preference, I do prefer Bumble. I feel like there's a bit more features on it. You can sort of like filter people based on what you want. Look, I completely forgot. It has been quite some time. But quite funny as well. You can put like your height, your weight. Hey, I'm not mistaken if you can put your weight. I don't think so. But anyhow, what I'm trying to say is that, you can actually filter people according to like their characteristics.
Your preferences, you mean?
Yeah, which is quite interesting, based on
I
the
see.
previous podcast episode that we talk about ideal partners.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, with these filters of dating apps, would you be open to try, considering that it might potentially boost you in your, I don't like to use the word search, but boost you in your journey to finding your ideal partner? Would you ever be, open to that?
To be honest with you, it is a hard decision to say it right now, whether I will be open to it or not. Because like I said before, I'm quite an old school type of person.
Yeah.
So of course it's hard to change, like your perspective around that dating apps.
Fair.
Yeah, and listening a lot of like bad experience with dating apps, of course, makes you feel a bit scared and a bit reluctant to try it.
Okay.
I guess to be open about it, yes, I can still accept it, but just to try it in the long run, maybe not for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You mentioned bad experiences, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the bad experiences that you've heard? Because I think that would be an interesting one.
Most of them are just like, like someone trying to pretend to be someone else.
Oh, catfishing.
Yeah, catfishing. That's the term.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing might be a lot of scams around dating apps this day.
What kind of scams?
Like, it's just called dating app scams.
Okay.
There is also a Netflix show. It's called Tinder Swindler, if I'm not mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken as well. Yeah, I think I saw it.
It's about that, yeah.
Like, as in, I haven't watched it, but I think I saw the title somewhere.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically about like scams that are happening on dating apps.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay. Which brings me to this sort of like example that I have in my head as well. Of course, like I said, I've downloaded these apps before and I've used it. There was this one specific experience where things fast-tracked a bit too quickly, in my opinion. I was like, wow, you barely knew me and we just started, virtually talking to one another. And you want to go out, and have a chat or, to meet up basically. And I think I was like, oh, okay. And it's funny because like as a male, I think I'm going to generalize and put it out there that I think females have more to fear compared to males when it comes to the first meetups in dating apps, right? Actually, I'm not going to dive into that. But essentially what happened was I was so afraid of, going to this unknown place. I wouldn't say unknown. It's still like, you're meeting someone new, but you never know what's going to happen.
That's true.
So what I did was that, what I did? I was actually staying with my housemates back then. This was, back in the days. I talk as if like I'm like 40. I am 40 maybe.
No, you're not.
But anyhow, what I did was I shared my live location with my housemates.
Just to be safe.
And I was like, look, if I don't reply within 24 hours and my live location is not moving at all, please call the cops to this location ASAP, like pronto.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. I think I was genuinely afraid.
Yeah,
And
I feel that's
it's funny.
normal, right? Especially if it was your very first time experience to meet someone new and you didn't actually know about this person at all.
Yeah, and I think like the anticipation and sort of like the fear coming to the day of like meeting this specific person is just can be a bit scary, I would say.
Yeah,
That
that's
it's like
true.
waiting for it to happen. You never know what's gonna happen, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Right?
Not
Like you
with
say,
dating apps, with just like relationships in general.
yeah, I mean, like you say, with like catfishing and all that stuff as well. Although, in dating apps, there is this sort of like verification process. It's sort of like KYC.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like is that like a bank jargon or?
Yeah, KYC is like a bank jargon.
Yeah, so KYC, and in a KYC, I don't know what you're supposed to do. I completely forgot, but I think you're supposed to take like a selfie or something to show that, hey, these photos are me. I'm not catfishing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are also a lot of successes behind dating apps, like people find their true love through dating apps. It's not all about bad things.
Of course, yeah.
So it's more about, filtering out maybe the person that you would like to meet. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think like when it comes to any platforms in general, there will always be pros and cons.
Of course.
Right? Like when you use Instagram, use Facebook, whatever social media platform that you use or any platforms at all, there will always be bad stories, there would always be good stories. And it's quite interesting the fact that dating apps are now gradually becoming the norm of meeting someone. Because if you think about it, both of us full-time working, quote-unquote adults. I don't feel like an adult ever. I genuinely thought that at this age, I would be, set for life. When I was like young, when I was a child, I was like, yeah, Aaron at that age would have been set for life. He would act like a proper adult. Nope. Anyhow, going back to the topic, if you're working full-time, you have your commitments after work. You want to catch up on things, your hobby, low-high trips, whatever it is, right? How do you make time to find or explore new people aside from dating apps? Because you mentioned you would prefer the method of meeting new people through mutual friends or mutual family members or whatever it is, right? I mean, in the end of the day, won't you run out of candidates?
Yeah. So how do I make time? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and how do you make time as well as like, like I mentioned, like there will be very limited candidates. The number of people that you can potentially meet, it depends on your friendship or family circle. Of course, the bigger it is, that means the pool of your candidates are bigger.
Yep.
Is bigger, right? But at the same time, isn't it a little bit more efficient to use a dating app? I guess that's where I'm coming to it. I mean, I'm not pro dating app. I'm just curious
You're
to
just
know your
curious
opinion.
to know my opinion. I guess first of all, to answer your first question about making time, is just to list down your priorities in a day or in a week. I usually have a planner, so I just, like make time for myself, for my friends, for my family, everyone around me. It's just getting better over time that at this point in my life and since last year, I can say that I have been really efficient in making some sort of like priorities and dividing time for myself and for everyone. And the second of all about potential candidates, like you said, I guess I cannot really say much at this point. I guess from my perspective, it's more about the quality over the quantity.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say if you have like potential candidates for like 10 people, but the potential ones or the ones that really meet your criteria are just like 3 out of 10. So it's like 30%. But let's say it's also the same as when you have like another candidates, which is from your mutual friends or for family, but they only give you like 1 or 2 options.
Okay.
So it's just like at the end of the day, it's more about, for me, quality over quantity.
Yeah. So because you sort of like trust your friends and family members' judgment to introduce people to you. Is that what you're trying to say? Like a peer-reviewed introduction. Peer-reviewed candidate.
Maybe it's more like passing through the first screening. And afterwards, it's more about the connection that we have for the person, right? It doesn't mean like when they actually offer to introduce me with someone else, we have to end up in a relationship afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just sort of like testing waters to see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe like getting to know each other first as friends.
Of course, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. It's basically like the filtering thing on dating apps as well. So that's sort of
Yeah.
like the filter that you get in real life.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
in your opinion, would you say that, through these sort of like connections that you get, the introduction, third party referrals or whatever you want to call it, right? Do you think it's more genuine and authentic compared to knowing one another through dating apps? Would you say so?
Not necessarily, because if you say about something, evaluating whether it's authentic or not, at the end of the day, it really depends on your judgment and
Okay.
what you feel.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I guess it's just like using different platforms or different ways of meeting someone new. But yeah, again, I have to say, because I'm quite an old school, I prefer that
Yeah,
way. But for
respect that.
most people, they can use dating apps. It's also an open alternative.
Absolutely. I think in the end, it's just preference
It's just preference, yeah.
and what you think is best for yourself,
Yeah.
But I think in the end of the day, if you're using dating apps, just remember to stay safe. One tip, if you ever go on an unknown date and you fear for your safety or whatever, share your location. Make sure that someone else know of what you're doing.
Yeah.
No matter how you think they might judge you, of course, find someone that is able to provide you with a safe space, a non-judgmental space,
Yeah.
to be able to support you unconditionally.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
Yeah, and to, of course, a person who's responsible as well.
Yeah.
Who's like, something's up. You know what? I'm gonna call the cops.
Oh, that's your story to tell.
But yeah, anyhow, what's your final words that you have to say about this specific topic, dating apps? Is there anything?
Yeah, I guess like you said, just be careful. Just be safe.
Yeah.
And I guess protect your heart too, because sometimes people can, if you like someone, you just use your feelings more than your
Your
rational.
brain. Use different parts of your body
Yeah.
more than your brain.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Just be safe.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that's very interesting because when I think about protecting oneself, the only thing on my mind is safety, like physical safety, right? I'm always like, physically, are you harmed during this process? No, cool, nothing has happened. But I think you brought up something very interesting, which surprisingly, I've never considered, which is emotional safety,
Yeah.
emotional well-being. How much tax it takes on your emotional and mental well-being
Yep.
through the process of filtering and through the process of like getting to that, I don't know, a compatible ideal partner of yours, whatever you wanna call it, right?
Not just me, but also for you or for someone else out there.
For all listeners
For
of
all
Low High
listeners,
Trips.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for teaching me that today, Angeline. Everyone, take good care of your safety as well as your emotional well-being.
Your heart is really important
Your heart
to
is
take care of.
important. Yeah, don't get a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
But anyhow, look, once again, everyone, stay safe, stay high, stay low, stay hydrated. And yeah, this is Angeline and I.
Oh, thank you for listening, everyone.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.